I'm going to show you a video of a Portland, Oregon, longtime bureaucrat. When asked about the homelessness issue, which Portland has a ton of, number one, he cries, and then he tries to blame capitalism. This is after Portland, Oregon has spent billions and billions of dollars, and homelessness has absolutely skyrocketed. What's the disconnect here? Let's get into it. Here we go.
So I'm about to show you a video of outgoing Portland City Administrator Michael Jordan blaming homelessness on capitalism.
Okay.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that the city and the county cannot solve this problem on their own. This problem,
and yet they've single-handedly created the problem on their own, because there's other cities, counties around the United States that don't have this issue. You guys built it. You guys can solve it, but you don't have the balls to do it. Plain and simple. Instead, you're sitting here crying to major media in Portland. Capitalism
is a structural problem based on the economy, based on the fact that American capitalism and American democracy are not distributing power and wealth. They're concentrating it. And because of that, the people at the margin, at the lower end of the economic scale, that margin is growing.
He literally...
Why do you think it's growing there? Why do you think it's growing? Because you have built it and they will come. You built it and they came. You built the homeless industrial complex. It isn't about capitalism. The only thing capitalism supports here is how many billions of dollars have you spent trying to fix this problem with short-sighted housing first policies. You've got terrible policies, and you literally spend billions of dollars, $600-700 million a year, and homelessness just keeps getting worse, right? You're like, I don't get it. People at the margins have always had issues. They haven't necessarily just dropped out of society, lived on a tent, and done drugs. But we don't hear that at all throughout this guy's talk. We don't hear about drugs. We don't hear about mental health issues because they want to make it about taxing rich businesses and more money for housing, because that's something they can live with, because that's what funds the homeless industrial complex, of which Democrats are a huge, huge supporter, right? Republicans, not so much, because those policies flat don't work. And we're watching it in real time in Portland, Oregon. We're watching it in Seattle, Washington as well. San Francisco is doing a different job and they're cleaning things up. Weird how that works, right? Apply a little tough love? Yeah, interesting.
He admitted that this crisis cannot be solved unless we change the distribution of wealth. Translation, abolish capitalism.
And until we deal...
What I would say there is not necessarily abolish capitalism, but progressive revenue streams. You're going to go after businesses even more for those same tax dollars to fund all this nonsense that clearly does not work. Housing first doesn't work. Harm reduction doesn't work. But Democrats are so misguided. Progressives and liberals are so misguided in their ideology that they can't work out. If we could just spend a few more $1 billion, maybe we'll solve this someday. It's literally the definition of crazy, expecting a different result after doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over and over again.
With that, we will continue to treat this symptom of an economic ill.
All the people doing drugs, all the people that are crazy, that are out on the streets, that we allow to just roam around, commit crimes because of, justice reform, another idiotic concept, right? You're gonna boil this down to economic? Really? I mean, that is preposterous at best. Preposterous at best. Delusional. Absolutely delusional. You go into a homeless encampment, you go 10 miles that way, into a homeless encampment, Seattle, Washington, and you tell me it's an economic issue. No, it's a drug issue. It's a mental health care issue, and it's about money being spent on ridiculous stuff so you can just keep the whole grift thing going.
Why does that hit you?
Because it's avoidable. Not by decisions made by the city and county. These are just bigger issues that are resolvable, but it's going to take this country coming to grips with the fact that this isn't working.
It's not working in Portland, Oregon, because you're not applying the right ideology to it. You're not applying, hey, let's actually help these people. And instead of just doing this circle jerk concept of, well, maybe we'll go out and help some people. Maybe we won't. We're not really sure. Live in a tent, live wherever the F you want, commit crime, steal from the population. It's all good. Let's decriminalize drugs. We'll see how that goes. I mean, this guy is laughable. It's laughable. He's sitting there crying because he thinks that this is an economic issue. Are there some people that'll lose their homes and go homeless? Yeah. Go look in a homeless encampment and you tell me that that's what these people are. That is not who these people are. These people are drug addicts and whacked out of their mind. They should be in mental institutions. They should be in treatment centers somewhere. But because you don't have the political will to address that and you want to identify it as an economic issue, I mean, that is literally laughable. I mean, laugh in your face because you're such a moron. Yeah, that's what this is. I'm not sure. This is Blair Best from KGW8. She's done a great job over the years reporting on homelessness in Portland, Oregon. I'm not sure if she's buying this or not. Blair, I hope you're not, because this is a bunch of nonsense. This is just a bunch of, what are you talking about?
It's just going to get worse.
It is.
Not once did he mention addiction, mental illness, family estrangement, legal issues, medical issues, any barriers that led a person to the streets or kept him on the streets. What this tells me is he has, first of all, never met a real-life homeless person. And I consider this insulting to the people who suffer out there every single day for him to simplify it down to capitalism, right? What exactly does that mean? Yes, that's an argument for another day, and we can debate whether that has some play in it. And of course, it does somewhat when you talk about affordable housing issues. But overall, the large majority of the homeless crisis is a result of mental illness and addiction, period.
You recently said the mayor's shelter system is sucking up a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Would you say the mayor is spending too much money on a crisis that many argue will never be solved?
No.
Okay.
And lastly, he was asked if we've been spending too much money on the shelter system. He, of course, said no. And while I support spending more money to get people indoors, one thing we have shown, if money were the solution, we would have solved it by now. The solution is in changing the approach and honestly changing the belief system of what the root causes of homelessness are.
We're going to take a little bit of a deeper look at that video with Blair Best and numbnuts there. But let's look at this. The recent annual spending. How much has Portland area spent on homelessness? Just throw out a query. More than $700 million was spent on homelessness in a single fiscal year, 23-24, including federal, state, local, and SHS tax dollars. Commenters summarizing that work and local reporting cite roughly $531 million to $724 million, $2.77 billion over 2020 to 2024, a short 5-year period, $3 billion. $3 billion. Separately, City of Portland reports spending $1.7 billion on affordable housing development. And how's that going, right? How is that going? Because we've got these entities. We've got supportive housing service tax. We've got $250 million per year, $437 million by 2029 on programs that are causing this to literally just increase. Key numbers, peers. How much has homelessness increased in Portland in the last 5 years? Pretty simple query, right? has risen on the order of several thousand people over the last 5 years, roughly doubling by 2025, depending on which counts you use. So you move down to 2025 Tri-County Pitt survey, point in time, found 12,000 people experiencing homelessness. January 2025, that's the one we just had, which is a 61 to 67% increase compared with the previous count in 2023. So we go 2023, 2024, 2025, 2 years, and you're spending $3 billion and it goes up 67%? Taken all together, moving from 4,000 in 2019 to more than 10,000 regionally in 2025 implies an increase of roughly 150% to 200% over 6 years, with most of that growth occurring in the last 5. And you have the balls, you have the audacity to tell me that this is capitalism? I mean, absolutely shocking. I mean, the idiocy of that statement. I couldn't be more wrong. That's just a lunatic statement. It's like, just the whole thing is so bad. It's so wrong. It's so off kilter that we got to look at it some more. Because this guy is just, I mean, this is comedy. This is comedy at best, because this is a libtard. This is a progressive, whatever you want to call this guy, ineffective, probably. You want to just call him ineffective. Because Portland, when I was a kid, Portland used to be a great place to go hang out. Did it with my grandma. We used to shop. Lloyd Center Mall. You know what Lloyd Center Mall looks like now? I mean, it is an absolute hellhole. Area surrounding it. Hellhole. Hellhole. Didn't used to be that way. Till you got a bunch of numbnuts in office like this guy here. And he's like, I'm crying. Why are you crying? Because you did such a bad job? You did such a poor job? And there's no way, shape, or form you will take responsibility for the situation you created? Leadership in Portland created this. You know how we know that? Because you've got other areas of the country that don't have these issues, that don't spend this amount of money, and they don't have any homelessness, per se. They don't. You know what market has probably the least amount of affordable housing in the United States, but it has zero homelessness? Beverly Hills. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's so strange, right? I mean, that's a topic for another day, but let's listen to this guy.
Talking to each other in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big plus. I think we have a lot more data than we had 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. You can look at it and say, oh my goodness, we kind of know what's happening now. Having said all of that, I would be remiss if I didn't say that the city and the county cannot solve this problem on their own.
And I have said that many, 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 many times, because you don't have leadership. You got a guy that's crying. I'm sorry. You got a guy that's crying over a situation he created, and now he wants to blame capitalism. What? Seriously? What? You're doing what?
This problem is a structural problem based on the economy, based
100% bullshit. It's a problem based on drug addiction, and it's a problem based on mental health care issues. Period. Go down to the homeless encampment and walk around for 5 minutes. Get out of your car, walk around, and you tell me what you see. And you know what? These people find the money night in, night out, day in, day out for their next fix of drugs. Because in Portland, in Seattle, we've given them everything else to live that lifestyle, right? We've given it to them on a silver effing platter. Here you go. We give you everything but the drugs. Here's a crack pipe. Here's a booty bump kit. Here's some tinfoil. You need a sleeping bag? You need a tent? What else can we get you so you can do some urban camping? You know what I mean? But this guy wants to blame it on a structural problem of economics? No. 100% no.
On the fact that American capitalism and American democracy are not distributing power and wealth, they're concentrating it. And because of that, the people at the margin, at the lower end of the economic scale, that margin is growing.
There's a lot of people out there in the world that are poor, that live at the margin, and they don't resort to doing drugs in a tent in Portland, Oregon. Full stop. Period. So that's where this notion that, if they just had another paycheck, they wouldn't be homeless, they wouldn't be living in a van down by the river doing drugs like there's no tomorrow. It's just nonsense. These are choices people are making. These are choices people are making to live in Portland because it's got the best supporting homeless industrial complex in the United States. And it's only going to get worse. He is correct in saying, or Blair Best is correct in saying this is going to get worse. Because it's going to get worse because you're not doing anything that's actually going to address it. So yeah, it's going to get worse because of your policy. But hey, let's keep going.
And we've got 7,000 people-ish on the street in Multnomah County. There are 70,000 people that are one broken arm, one broken down car, one paycheck away from being on the street. And until we deal with that, we will continue to treat this.
How are you going to deal with that? What are you going to do? You're not. You're not. In other cities, other counties, other states already deal with homelessness. Hey, we're going to have our state troopers give you a ride to jail. That's the least option we want to take. Take you to treatment, take you to a mental health care facility. Which one do you want to go to? But you can't live here. Right? That is actually getting them the help that they need. And those states, those counties, those cities don't have homelessness like you've got in Portland, Oregon, because you've got a bunch of progressive liberals who can't work their way out of a wet paper bag, including this guy right here.
Symptom of an economic ill.
Why does that hit you?
Is Blair, is she buying this? Is she? I think she's just asking polite questions, thinking bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But I can't really tell, right? She asked the question, why does that hit you? Because the guy's crying. Guy's crying over a situation he created. My son would have turned 30 last week. He died of an accidental fentanyl overdose. That's something worth crying. Crying over a situation you created, I call bullshit.
Because it's avoidable. Not by decisions made by the city and county. These are just bigger issues that.
No responsibility. We didn't have anything to do with this. We're just trying to manage it as best we can. We're spending your taxpayers' dollars by the billions and it isn't working out. So we're just going to keep on doing that and expect a different result. Literally a definition of crazy. That's what progressives are. Hey, we think we can fix this by applying this lens to it. And you're like, it's not going to work out. It's not working out. You need some different leadership in Portland, but you're not going to get it because most of your constituents are going that direction even harder. And everybody else is like, yeah, I don't think so. You got big business leaving. You got employees leaving. You've got people leaving. Same thing in Seattle. People are leaving. Businesses are leaving because you've got this progressive ideology that won't take responsibility for the very situations that you're creating in real time that we can watch. We can see. Hey, how's that whole justice reform thing going on? Yeah. 75-year-old woman in Seattle out in front of the King County Courthouse gets hit in the head with a guy with a stick with a metal screw to it, loses her eye, and this guy is known to police for being on the streets hitting people. Oh yeah, he normally hits people. Oh, we know who that is. Yeah, we'll go pick him up. Progressive ideology. Let's just give people break after break after break. Let's not put them in jail. Let's not put them in treatment. Let's not put them in a mental institution. Let's not really put them wherever they should be. Let's just let them roam around causing massive, massive damage to ecology areas. Let's let them live on the Willamette River. What could go wrong? They just take a crap into the river. That's gross. Where's the outrage over that? Instead, you're talking about capitalism. Honestly, you're talking about capitalism being the root cause of this. Nah, this is drugs. This is mental. Two things.
Are resolvable, but it's going to take this country coming to grips with the fact that this isn't working.
Other parts of the country have already come to grips with the approach that you're taking does not work. Pull your head out of your ass, get a different outlook on things, and then go. And then maybe you'll start to get some traction. Bruce Harrell in Seattle, he did a great job of just sweep. Because what that does is that pushes back on the notion that, hey, we're going to sit around and cry because you're in a tent. You can't have that approach. You got to be relentless, like they are in Oklahoma. A relentless pursuit of the law. And that's how you get end results. You don't get end results about crying because it's an economic issue of capitalism. You're spending the end results of capitalism. You're spending hundreds of millions into the billions of dollars on a program that won't work from the fruits of capitalism. And you're bitching about capitalism being the core source? Absolutely mental, right? This is why Portland, Oregon has the issues that it does. This kind of thinking right here. It's just, seriously, what are you thinking?
It's just going to get worse.
It is.
Yeah. You recently said the mayor's filter system.
Blair just leaves it alone. Yeah, this is just going to get worse. Yep. And we all know it because you don't have a system in process that can actually deal with some of these issues. Hey, involuntarily put people into treatment. Hey, involuntarily put people into mental institutions. But when you've got law enforcement in Portland, Oregon, not working with ICE, working with basic law enforcement, you've got an effed system. You really do. That's why it won't work. That's why it'll continue to get worse. And you know what? Get out that popcorn because it's going to provide podcasts for me for days, weeks, months, years, decades because of your idiocy.
Sucking up a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the mayor is spending too much money on a crisis that many argue will never be solved?
No.
Okay.
I mean, what I just talked about earlier is an important issue. The crisis on the street is an urgent issue. And, what we had 450 people die on the streets in 24 or 23, I can't remember.
And what are you doing about it? How are you enforcing that they don't live on the streets? What are you doing there? Like, what are you doing? In Kevin Dahlgren, he's the guy that we saw in that first video. In video after video after video, you will see him interviewing homeless people, and they'll ask, has anybody from Outreach contacted you? And invariably, they're like, nope. Because those people are sitting at a desk at some NGO somewhere, collecting a big paycheck. Their CEO is collecting $200,000 a year. And if they actually do something to get people off the streets, then homelessness goes away. So is their paycheck. No more need for them. So they don't really do anything that actually provides closure to this whole concept of homelessness. They just do things that basically make it look like they're doing stuff, and it enables what we see. And you can see it in California. You can see it in Oregon. You can see it in Washington State. Between those three states, we've got 35 to 40% of the entire homeless population in the United States. And yet percentage-wise of population, it's only a small percentage in the entire country. It's only 3 states. You got 48 left, however you want to count that. That whole, Hawaii, Alaska, and whatever.
And so, no, We're not spending too much money on it. Our problem is the money we're spending isn't as effective as we hope. We need to get more value out of the dollars we spend.
When your homelessness has gone up 150 to 200%, it hadn't been as effective as you thought. What expectation did you have? Because you got nothing. It got worse. It's getting worse exponentially. Your curve is going to the moon because you have built homeless industrial complex to support these people. They know it. They come and they are like, it's party time. Let's go. Let's go. It's party time. And here you sit and cry and do nothing. That is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous.
And we have to understand that we are treating a symptom of a much deeper problem. And perhaps our approach needs to be a little bit different.
You think? Do you think so? You're coring out your downtown core. You got the highest vacancy factor in your downtown core. You've got absolute Looney Tunes running around. You've denuded it. You've absolutely taken the balls off the police force with your ridiculous Democrat ideology. You don't allow them to arrest people and incarcerate them. Your judges just revolving door. Nobody wants to live and work in an environment like that. Big businesses are already leaving because of that kind of just, this doesn't really work out well. Businesses don't want to have their management, their employees, their customers in an environment like downtown Portland. And I say that kindly after walking the streets around midnight, covering the ice, just absolute. That was lunacy at your ICE facility. You know what? You got to deport the criminal illegals. That's what ICE does. Have them work with local law enforcement. You create a safer environment for everybody in your community. Get the people out of the tents, get them into treatment, get them into mental facilities, get them into jail if you need to. If these people are breaking the law, get them off the streets, get them out of the encampments, and then see how things go, right? Because jail is housing. Treatment is housing. Mental institution is housing. And that's where these people need to be. Yeah.
Is this the most painful issue that you've had to?
I think so.
Yeah. How does that wear on you day after day?
Well, I think it wears on all of us. It certainly wears more on the people who have to deal with it every day on the street. We have, providers and our staff and police officers and PSR and mental health professionals, outreach workers, and they have to deal with it every day. Mm-hmm. So it's hard.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm sorry. I call 100% bullshit on this. Just 100% bullshit. Go out to a homeless encampment. Take a look around for like 2 minutes. Just take a look around for 2 minutes. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. I don't think there's anything more. I don't want to see any more crying. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in homelessness. You got to be a man. You got to solve the issue, which is you can't just allow people to live willy-nilly wherever the F they want. You just can't do that. And if you do, you create the situation we just looked at, right? You create that situation, and then you want to blame capitalism. That is laughable at best. Laughable at best. This is a policy failure. This is a policy failure of libtard states. Because you don't have this kind of thing in Republican-run cities. And if you do have a bigger population than other cities because of various different factors, high cost of living. I'm not saying high cost of living doesn't have to do with it, but it is not the root cause of it, right? It's just not. It's not the root cause of what we're seeing in the homeless encampments, particularly in Portland, Oregon. And literally a couple of minute visit out there would result in, Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. All right. Women being assaulted on the nightly because they've got an entire ecosystem worked out with their own mayors. They get passed around sex toys because they've got an ATM between their legs. I mean, it's just the whole thing is like just absolute nutty. We've got dudes here being raped in Bellevue, Washington by other homeless people involved in this industrial homeless complex. Bellevue, Washington didn't used to have that. And we've got a light rail system coming this May that's going to allow homeless people to ride from Seattle into downtown Bellevue. Let the games begin. It's going to be Hunger Games, homeless encampment style 2026. Oh, it's going to be something else. And I'm going to cover it for you right here on News for Reasonable People. And you won't see any crying. You know why? Because that's not what we're doing. Cry in your own time. Be a leader first. Leaders don't cry. They just don't. That's not what they do. Because when you're crying, you're basically not doing what you need to do. No, you need to go out there, figure out a solution, do it. But that will never happen in Portland, Oregon. Because you got too many guys that are doing this number. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.